let's create the pieces of plastic molding that kind of come in here from the door and down toward the floorboard. I'm going to simplify these just a little bit from what's actually there, but nothing all that major. Just try to get the model wrapped up so we can move along to the next thing. Now, let's take this. I've created a polygon plane, as you may have noticed. I'm going to rotate it up here into position. Let's bring it down to a 1x1 plane, so we'll just use it as a single polygon. Scale it down a bit. And I'll just position it right underneath the dash. You can actually kind of run it up behind the dash. Might be a little bit safer. That way nobody's going to end up seeing the wheel well in the end. We'll go ahead and do that. Let's start off by grabbing some vertices, and I'll come over here to a side view and just make a few tweaks. Pull this out a little bit. We can pull this out. And let's see. Not bad. Let's grab our edge up here at the top. And I'll extrude this edge up. Up one more time, just pull it up to the level of the dash. Then let's grab vertices, and I'll tuck this vertex back into the surface, like so. Same thing with this vertex, just get it kind of back out of sight. Now let's grab edges down here on the bottom, and we'll extrude as well, just pulling this down to about there. Whoops, don't scale. I want to actually do some moving here. Looks like we have an edge here that can be kind of pulled out for a little bit of adjustment. Okay, not bad. And I'll come back over here to a side view to continue working on this. Let's go ahead and extrude again. And I'll pull this down, just kind of following the curvature right at the inside of that gasket, you can see. And we'll pull this back a ways, maybe to right about here. Rotate around up here in perspective and see where we get to. I think we'll just go ahead and put it in park right there. Actually, no, let's go ahead and run it all the way up. I'm trying to change my mind at several different times at once. You shouldn't do that. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and run this up. Now, I am sticking out the side of the car as I do this. I know that. And you can see here what that's causing. So now we can just grab edges and vertices and basically clean the whole thing up. Now if I switch off cockpit, makes that still there. Let's add, see if I hide away center top, we still have that. Let me add this to the cockpit layer to get rid of it for now. And then I can come around here from behind and just start adjusting vertices. Looks like I'm grabbing some stuff out in the distance that I don't mean to, so do watch out for that. Now all I'm doing is I'm creating a little bit of thickness that'll go up along this blind spot that I've extended up here. So, nothing too major, nothing all that difficult. If we switch the cockpit back on, you can see that I'm basically just tucking it all in behind the little rubber gasket. Okay. Pull these in a little bit. Tuck these in. Oh, almost there. Alright, so something like that's going to work out pretty well, I think. Now, let's grab edges. I guess only up to there, because we don't really need to go up all the way behind the dash. Nobody can see that far inside anyways. And we'll carry this all the way up. Let's extrude again, like so. I'll push back in Z. And I'll go ahead and do another push as well, like so. And let's immediately switch over to world mode, and I'll push this in a little bit in X. And I'll be tweaking that all throughout the shape here in just a moment. First off, though, there is a handle that's right here by the driver's seat that I want to create. And this is kind of fun. What we're going to do is take these two faces here and here. You'll notice they're right beside each other, but you got to kind of peek around a few things. Oh, wow. There's a distraction. Look what I did to my handle. So if you've done something like that for any given reason, make sure you come in here and fix it. I don't know what I did that could have done that, but hey. We'll put it back. And if you want to be really, I guess, religious and hardcore about it, you could probably just mirror over the one you have on the other side. But I'll just put that back, and nobody will ever notice. And you guys, I command you to forget what you just saw. Excellent. Okay, now, let's grab this face and this face. And what I'll do is I'll extrude these two, and let's scroll down and grab their offset. Let's set that to something like a point. Let's start off with 0.05. Oh, look, they're still hooked together. Break that. Keep faces together. Switch to off. Cool. Now they're two separate faces. That'll work, too. So go ahead and extrude again and set the offset again to 0.05, like so. And I think that's going to work out pretty well. We'll scale this in just a little bit further. Actually, we won't do that. Let's go ahead and extrude again now, and we'll push in local Z, and then hit delete. So we just carved out this little hole. Now check this out, because this might be a little bit tricky to see. We're going to connect these two holes together using the Append to Polygon tool. And if I go from this back face to this back face, you can kind of see the direction we're going in. So this edge to this edge. We'll go way down to the far end, here to here, and then here to here. Boom. Now, with that done, let's hit Control tilde on this object and see what we have. So there's what we got. Let's go ahead and push it up to the next level of detail. So we have this oval-shaped hole. If you like to kind of help this hole retain its shape without getting too far out of whack, one of the things you can do, and this helps out a lot actually, is to create a split. Let's grab our split polygon tool, and I'll go ahead and switch on magnets. They might help in this case. And we'll split right down the middle of this object. Now check this. We'll go right to the center here, and all the way down the center here. Boom, you'll notice we come out the bottom of the handle, and then we walk back up the other side. Bum, 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 which we only need to carry up to there. Now let's do the same thing over here on this side. We'll start up at the top. This will actually help us retain some of the shape that we've got anyways, so that's all good. And we'll bring this right down the face. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Just inside the handle. And then we can follow this all the way back up. Okay, now let's take a look at that again. And you can see we're holding on to a bit more of our squared shape. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab faces. Let's grab these two faces here. And I'll pull these in just a little bit to kind of close in that hole. So there's the handle. Now we need to tweak some area in here. One of the things I'm going to do before we do that is I'm going to adjust our wheel wells up here in the front. If for no other reason than to give our wheels a little bit more room to turn when they have to. If for some reason later on we end up rigging this car up or something like that. So we'll scale these in just a bit. That doesn't need to be crazy. You don't need any of this mess. Just a little bit. Give them some more room to breathe. And you could, even if you wanted to get hardcore, and let's go ahead and do this, We can just delete out these faces here for the time being. That'll actually work out really well for us later on down the road. Okay, now, tweaking out all of this. Let's go back to our low res, and I'll start off just by moving some edges around. So we can pull this edge over, we can pull this edge over, we can even pull this edge over. And this is all about just tweaking things around a bit. So, let's see. Now here's a given, guys. I'm more or less making this shape up. I'm filling in some blanks here on the underside just to give the user, or the viewer, I suppose, something more to look at than just the basics we'd created before. Looks like another edge in here would be prudent, so let me go back to object mode. We'll grab the split edge ring tool, pop in a quick edge, switch back over to vertices, and now we can sort of round that area out just a little bit more. Especially in here, where it'll come in the handiest. Okay, and really that doesn't look too bad, just like that. I'm going to pull a couple of these extra vertices here and here down a little bit. We'll pull these down a little bit, and I'll pull these down a little bit. There is a bit of a change in direction if you look on the actual car right about here, so we'll kind of mimic that a little bit. Let me switch back over to world mode on my move tool, make things a little bit easier on me. Okay, so there we go. Looking pretty good. And now we can grab these edges, maybe pull them out just a little bit further. Let's extrude them, and I'll push these forward in world Z. Now we just need to get these back here to form a back wall, so it's not like we really have to pull them all that far. Let's extrude again, and I'll go in world X over about like so. I'll just go ahead and get my move tool out, and let's see if we can do a grid snap. It won't let me. Let's go over to vertices. Make sure I'm in world mode. Click on X. Boom. So that should take care of that, and there's what all that ends up looking like, which is not bad. A little bit of a dent caused by this guy right here that I could clean up a little bit. A little bit of pinching in here that we can smooth out. That's not bad. And up here we've got all of this, which actually looks pretty nice, just for playing around and getting these guys vaguely where they should be. Let's go to wireframe view for just a moment, and I'll straighten some of these up. I'm going to control click on Z and pull all these down. Now we don't need these to stick so far back through the back wall, so let's take just a second to clean these up. Frame my view up real quick, and we'll pull these in to sort of round things up. I'm going to control click on X while I do this. Alright, that's not bad. And line these up just a little bit better than they are. Keep checking with that smooth mesh, make sure you're not doing anything too crazy. Which you're probably not. But it's always a good idea to make sure. I've done all sorts of crazy things without knowing it before. Actually, you guys just saw one a few minutes ago. There's that funny thing over there with the handle for the blinker. Oh, wait, but I told you guys to forget that. Yeah, good work. I'm glad I thought to do that. So you guys have no idea what I was just talking about. How cool is that? Alright, so let's slide all this forward. I'll bring these forward. I don't care if it sticks a little bit through the back wall, but what it had there was just a little bit gratuitous, even for me. Oops. Okay. And I'm pretty much okay with all that. So if we turn the cockpit back on, what is on? Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. Good work. Alright, so now that we can see the back wall again, we can make further adjustments to this. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of pulling these vertices back behind where the user will never be able to notice them. So that just kind of helps the whole thing look like it just rounds out and ends right there. And there you go. Now there's a segment of this piece on the real car that kind of sticks out right about here, which we can build right off this piece if we just grab the split edge ring tool and maybe make a split right about here. Let's grab all of these faces together. We'll extrude them a little bit. We can kind of push them off that way just a hair. In fact, let's undo that real quick, because what I want to do is I want to keep these really close for the first extrusion, then we'll extrude out again, and we end up with that, which is about all I was looking for, just a little bit, something kind of interesting sticking off right there. And I think that's going to about do it for that cool piece of plastic and its wraparound ability. Let's go ahead and add the base of the floorboard, which we're just going to pull off by grabbing the back wall, and let's extrude it. Come over here to a side view to assist. And we'll just go over here to world space. I'll pull this forward. And we can probably just leave it off right there and grab vertices. I'll slide this vertex over. Actually, hang on. I don't really want to do that. What I want to do, if you'll bear with me for just a moment, is I'd like to have a split in here that I can work with. So let's grab the split polygon tool, and the magnets are on, but they seem to be helping right now. I'm just going to split up to here. This is behind the seat. Nobody's ever going to see anything behind the seat, so that's all I really need. And I can grab these edges and extrude again. Whoops, make sure we're in world space. And pull those forward, and that should close off, or just about close off, the inside of the car. In fact, I think that's about as far as we really need it to go. We can, if you really just kind of want to help a little bit with the realism, we can extrude this a little bit more forward and kind of start to round it up a little bit. Because I do believe on just about every car you'll ever drive, and even some of the photos of the Lamborghini, it does kind of round up back there. Then we'll just grab these faces for the front of the firewall, and we'll just pull those forward. And let's round these two objects out. Yeah, they're fitting together pretty well, actually. We're going to have to kind of tweak around a little bit to keep from sticking through the wheel well. Let's take a look at that real quick. See, I can grab this vertex and pull it back a bit. See if that helps a little bit. We can grab these 3 vertices and slide them back. Right, that clears that up. All except for a little tiny bit, but I'm really okay with that. That's not really a problem. And I don't mind being able to see the seams here, because, I mean, you'd end up carpeting the bottom of this anyways. Now, if you want to get a little bit, just a little bit fancy, you can grab, I don't know. Let's say we get our split polygon tool out again, and I'll make a split, let's see, back up under the seat, like so. And then let me kill those magnets out, because the magnets are officially hurting me. Or maybe just more magnets will help. So we'll make a split straight across like so. And we can just grab these 2 faces and extrude them up just a little bit, and extrude them up just a little bit more. And it'd be nice if those had some bevels at the corners so they didn't quite jerk in so hard. In fact, let me undo that second extrusion. And we'll grab all of these edges, and let's bevel them. And I got most of it, didn't it? Let's grab this edge, and I'll just continue it all the way out to here. That should kind of help with some of that smoothing, and it did. Probably a good idea to fill this in with something. Let me grab my pen to polygon tool. We'll just start with a simple fill in like so, which I'm sure is going to cause problems. And indeed. So what I'll do to cure that is we'll grab the split polygon tool. I'll make a split in like so. Grab this vertex and just adjust until the problem solves itself. I think that'll work just fine. Oh, it looks like I forgot a corner up here that I was meant to bevel. That's what it looks like to me anyways. Which is not really a problem. We just got to kind of fix it manually. So let me zoom in here so that we can see this. I'll grab these 2 vertices. Let's go ahead and merge these together as one. I'm going to grab my split polygon tool, and we'll split. Let's kill off our magnets. Just split this corner up and back in. And did that split even take? It didn't look like it did. Nah, no way. There we go. Now that should help. Now, if I come over here to wireframe view, oh, look at that. Let's see. I have some extra faces here that probably got created by accident that I can kill off. Keep tweaking things out a little bit. I think I can take the floorboard. Let's pull it in so it doesn't quite come in so far underneath the side of the car. We don't really need it to. Let's get our append to polygon tool out again. I'll append that. Let's get the split polygon tool, put a split right here, grab this vertex, and we'll slide it back. And now we have a little bit of a floor mat, which is all I was really shooting for in the first place. Just something more to stare at than what we had. And we'll kick that over. Okay. not bad. Now, down here underneath, we have some pedals we could make, so... looks like we got a little bit of a gap over here, too. Let me see if I can solve that little problem. Let's see, vertex, and hit the 4 key, and you're probably the bad guy here. Maybe you. And then you can come over as well. There we go, no more gappage. Now, I have a cube over here that will turn into our one of our pedals. Just squash this down. This will be like the clutch. Scale it up just a little bit. I'm going to grab the edges at the corners. Here and here. And we'll bevel these. Now we'll grab the edges on all sides. Like so. And we'll bevel all of these. Whoops. Well, fine, we'll get it this way. Marking menu is malfunctioning just a little bit. Huh. Edit polygons. Bevel, and we get nothing. Interesting. Well, that seems to work okay. So, whatever it was, we'll just chalk it up to Maya having some fun with us. There we go. And let's pull the offset on this bevel down a little bit. Doesn't need to be all of that big of an ordeal. And we can grab this face here in the middle and just do a couple of quick extrusions to add some sort of detail. I'm going to duplicate this, and this will also be the brake. They'll be right next to one another. And then we'll duplicate this, we'll make a bigger version. Let me set my move tool over to object, and this will become our accelerator. These look like they can all be moved back a ways, so let's go back over to world mode, and we'll just kick these back a bit, like so. And then we can create another cube that got snapped way out there into the distance, but I want it actually right here. We'll scale it down, and notice the shapes back here are getting really simple, because this is way out of what you're typically going to see. Now, if you're going to be doing an animation where, you look down and see the character's boot pressing down on the accelerator, you may want to handle things a little bit differently than I am, because I'm more or less just making some stuff up to fill in the area, let people see what they're expecting to see. Actually, you won't really see anything behind the accelerator sticking up like that. It would stick down, so we'll just pull this down a little bit, slightly down through the floor. And I mean, from a distance, that's going to hold up just fine. So I think really that's going to about do it for the interior of our car. Let's make a couple of adjustments to our seats that I noticed earlier. Probably need to be done. We'll pull the seats down a little bit because they're kind of floating a little more than they need to. And that's about it, I guess. I think that's going to work out fine. Now we need to start mirroring things over to start completing off the interior. And there's a lot of things here that need to be mirrored. We've already got the seats, which is good. But we have, like, this object. By the way, let me go ahead and kill off history on this. Let's see, we got this object. I think really that's probably the bulk of what... Now, we got the little gasket, and we got the sides of the car that need working on. Speaking of which, there's a little piece here that I meant to work on, like, real early on into this, like a little latch that goes right here. Let's take just a second and build that, because it's kind of a fun piece to make. Or at least I think it'll be anyways. I'm not sure. I haven't really built one before. But if we take a look, you can see him right there. Nice how the picture just kind of popped up for me. And let's see here. What's the best way to do this? Let's take this and squash him flat. Frame up on him so we can see him real well. Make it kind of tall. And let's grab vertices here on this piece. I'm actually going to give myself a little more room to add this. There we go. And we'll rotate actually, let's not rotate it just yet. Not just yet. I'm going to grab the faces on either side. And let's extrude out. And we'll grab these two faces back behind. And extrude back. Extrude again. Grab the faces over here and here. We'll extrude out again. And then let's try a quick Control tilde to see what we have. Page up. Not bad. Let me do a little bit of beveling. Let's grab edges. So let's say here, 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 and here will be beveled. And we'll bring down that offset. Now let's grab edges all the way around. We'll get these corners too. If you guys hadn't caught on yet, I'm totally making this up right off the top of my head. Alright, and let's just see if I bevel these. Ooh, it's almost looking fancy. Probably help if I got these across the top here too. I think that's going to work. Now, it's got a little hole here on the side, and I would imagine it's got the same hole on the other side, though we'll never know for sure. That's alright, we'll build it anyways. And actually, let's not just delete that out with impunity. Let's do an extrusion that will scale down uniformly and then squash in a little bit like so. Then we'll delete. Then we will grab our append to polygon tool, and we'll make a quick append like so. Let me frame up on this beast real quick. And we'll append across like so. And then here. And then here. And I'll see if I can actually reach through this hole to get some of these guys. Now we know the thing's going to have a hard time keeping its shape and that our holes will end up circular. So to solve that, of course, we need to grab the split edge ring tool, or one of the faster ways anyways, and we'll put a couple of splits here on top and bottom, a couple of splits here on top and bottom, a couple of splits here on top and bottom, and here on top and bottom. Then split here, a split here, a split here, and a split here, and boom. Nice and squared. Let's go back to our low res, let's grab all the components. We'll rotate this into position. Place like so. And it looks like it needs some help, doesn't it? Set this over to smooth so we can get an idea of where this is actually going to end up. Actually, that's not too bad. It's a little floating, but that's, bound to happen. Rotate this around a little bit. And there we go. So we've got a little latch there. And I think that's going to pretty much do for everything we were going to be sticking in here. Let's mirror some of this other stuff over, just for the fun of it. We'll grab this guy, and let's delete out his history. Actually, let's mirror and then delete his history. That'll probably be more efficient, won't it? We'll mirror an X, and just in case, probably going to be a good idea to take your mirror node and lower its merge threshold. Make sure nothing crazy happened. And that looks great. And let's see, we have these two panels on the sides that we know we have to get rid of. So we'll select them, press the up arrow key to get their smooth proxy groups, and hit backspace, which kills them out, which is really scary because, you know, we've worked so hard to build them and all that. We'll select both of these, press the up arrow key, and let's see if I, from here I'll just hit Control G, Control D, and set X to -1. Now remember that I still have duplicate input graph activated, so I've got a low and a high res version of the mesh now on this side as well. Just keep that in mind. And let's see, we've got this gasket, we've got this piece that both need to come over. So let's group these, duplicate, and set the scale of the group to -1. I think that'll do there. Oh, there's this piece, which I almost forgot. Group, duplicate, scale to -1. There you go. Now, unless I forgot something, which is entirely possible, I think that's going to be about everything we need to bring over to the opposite side. Oh, no, there was one thing. There was this guy right here. I knew there was something. I could just feel it. All right, so select it, press the up arrow key to get its smooth proxy group, group it, duplicate, scale to -1, boom. And that does it for that. So now we have nice interior on both sides of the car. Wait, but there's more. We have all of this. I think this will be the last of it. So grab everything involved with the seatbelt mechanism, group, duplicate, scale to -1. And let's see. That one didn't actually come through. Oh, you know, I didn't hit the up arrow key. That's what killed us. So we grab this and press, actually, this, and press the up arrow key to get their smooth proxy groups, then get this, then group, then duplicate, then set the scale of that group to -1, and there you go. So now this guy should all toggle. Those are a little bit close. I suppose we could fix that just real quick. Grab some vertices here. Now notice I'm just grabbing these on the back wall for starters, alright? And we'll scale these apart from one another very slightly. We'll grab these guys. Let's grab vertices here and vertices here. Come on. And we'll scale these apart from each other slightly as well, which should work out just fine. And then these last will just move. So let's grab vertices. Make sure we move them with components. And we'll kick that over a little bit. And we'll kick that over a little bit. And then what I'll do here is I'll just fix the vertices for the seat belt. Push that over. Push that over. Do the same thing over here. See, it's easy once you get into it. Alright. So there we go with the mad interior. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. And in the next video, we'll start taking a look at wrapping up the doors. So we'll have the interior of the car completed. Thanks a lot.